Hey ghouls, get comfy because it's story time with MaeBunneh. Hi guys, I have another scary, spooky story to share with you. Another one from my childhood. And in case anyone's wondering, no, I do not live in that house anymore. I've not lived in that house for a very long time. And by that house, I'm referring to the last house that I spoke about my ghost experience. But this one is in a different house, so you can kind of guess. I've lived in a lot of different haunted houses, I guess you could say. We moved quite a bit when I was a child, and all of the houses were older, like 1920s or older, or somewhere around that range. So it doesn't really surprise me that we've had so many experiences growing up, but it is what it is. So let's just get into it. So this house that we lived in was, I believe, what you call a duplex. So there's the two doors, and one goes all the way upstairs, and then the people, just go straight in and they have theirs. So it's not like an apartment, because there's only two houses, I guess. And we had moved into it because we were looking for a place to stay. Long story short, I'm not going to get into all the details. We were looking for a place to stay, and it happened to be one of my aunt's best friends. Let's put it that way. I was going to say my mom's sister's best friend, but I should just say my aunt. Makes it less complicated. My aunt's best friend, and she was renting out, and my mom happened to know her too. So we went ahead and rented it from her. So she was our, my mom's best friend and landlord, so that worked out. And we lived there for quite a bit, and nothing really happened. First, things started off slowly, so just like dishes moving in the sink. So when you're sitting in the living room, you hear somebody messing with the dishes, and you go in there, sometimes they'd be moved, and we're just like, okay, whatever. I mean, and that's not the worst thing that's happened to us, so we kind of always just blew it off. And then there came this particular night, because I'm not going to try to drag this whole thing out for you guys. Obviously, I'm a kid. I didn't unpack all my crap yet, because, it's just me. I didn't unpack all my stuff. So it came to nighttime, and I used to have this big neon light that was in my room, and I forgot what it was. It was like a Pepsi. It was like Pepsi, and it was the neon. Like, you know how people get the guitars that glow. I don't know how to explain it, but y'all get my drift, right? And I had that in my room, and I wasn't a child that was afraid of the dark, so I never slept with it on, because I'm like, I don't need to. There's nothing going to get me. There's no boogeyman, I'm old enough to be past that. I went to go to bed like normal, whatever. And I heard some things moving, and I'm like, what is that? Because I had most of my stuff. When you're a kid, at least back in my day, when you moved, you put all your stuff in garbage bags. That's just how that went. So most of my stuff was in garbage bags, so I heard stuff rustling in the garbage bags, and I'm like, what is that? I'm like, that's weird. So I was getting a little creeped out, a little paranoid, so I get up and I turn on my neon light, because I'm starting to get freaked out, and I'm just like, okay, so if there's something in my room, like an animal, I'll be able to see it. Sound right? Sound right to me. It sounded good to me when I was a kid. It's not the brightest kid, but I was pretty bright back then. At that time, at least. And I was like, okay, so I just laid there, and I kept hearing it, but I wasn't seeing anything. So I was like, what is it? Like, I'm not seeing the bags move. I'm not seeing any animals. So what's making that noise? So then I started to really focus in on the sound, thinking, is it even in my room? Is it someone outside taking their trash out? Is it an animal out in the trash outside? Because, my bed was like right by the window, stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, there's nothing happening. And growing up, obviously, like I said, I've experienced a lot of paranormal things. And if you guys watched my other video, you know that I mentioned that my mom was super religious, so therefore, obviously, we were religious. So anytime I would get scared or anything paranormal was happening and it was starting to frighten me, I used to say the Lord's Prayer. If you don't know what the Lord's Prayer is, you can Google it. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it. And for some reason, it always seemed to help. Like, everything would calm down, or it would just stop, or it would go away. And I felt like, when you're a kid, you put two and two together. Oh, if I say this, it goes away. Or, oh, if I do this, it stops. So I assumed that it would always work no matter what. because it had in the past. And I don't think that was wrong of me to think, because if it was working, then hell, I'm going to keep doing it. But this particular time, it wasn't working. Like, I kept hearing stuff, and, then I started to go into panic attack mode. Like, why isn't this working? It's always worked. What is happening? So I just kept, saying it over and over in my head, because that's how I usually did it. Well, it wasn't doing anything, so I thought, let me say it out loud, because maybe that will make a difference. I was like, because this should work. It's always worked. And I was getting terrified, like, to the point where I was getting under the like, pulling the blankets up, which I've never done. And this is the only experience in my life that has frightened me as much as it has. And please let there not be one that's ever worse than this to me. And I'm just sitting there, and it keeps going, but it seems to be getting worse. The more I'm doing it, the worse it's getting. And I'm like, okay, this is really weird. What is happening? And I'm just laying there, and I didn't want to look at anything, because I was afraid that I would see something, or, I don't know, I was a kid, I wasn't sure. And I'm laying there, and I happen to look over at my trash bags just to make sure. Now, mind you, I have my neon light on so that I could see if anything's coming, or, any kind of, I thought it was a rat, to be honest with you. I thought there was a rat rummaging through my stuff. I found out it wasn't a rat. So basically, I'm laying there, and then when I open my eyes and go to look, it was as if someone or something had threw something at my window. Because there was this, my window was right by my bed, so my bed's like, so my window's like, I don't know how to do this. So there's my window, and my bed's like right here, so it's like against it. Something hits my window. Well, I shouldn't say like right there, because it's a few feet away. It's like a foot or two away from it, so it's not like I'm right by the window, if that makes any sense. But something hits it hard enough to where my blinds actually rattle and then fall off of the window. Now, we've already been there, I think, a few weeks, so it's not like it wasn't up there. It would have fell by then, you would think, at least. I'm not saying anything. I was a kid. I'm just saying what I remember. And I jumped up out of my bed, ran out my room. I run to my sister's. I don't know why I run to my sister's, because I felt like my parents would get mad if I woke them up. I don't know why. I run to my sister, and I just cry, and cry, and cry. I scared the crap out of her, by the way, because I just bust into her room while she's dead asleep, and she's thinking somebody's coming to rob her or kill her. And I just cried. I break down and cried. And I did not sleep in that room ever again. That whole time we lived there, I never slept in that room again. My dad, I was going to say my stepdad, my real dad, went into that room after it happened, because obviously my sister went and told my mom. She's like, something happened, and Sam's freaking out. And she got my, dad up. He went in there to make sure it wasn't an animal. To make sure that, it wasn't a rat. Because I'm a kid, I could have been overacting, anything like that. So he went through all my bags, he turned the light on, looked through everything, made sure there was no holes in my room, made sure there was no holes in my bags, just to see if it was, like, trying to get in something. He examined, like, the hooks on the walls to make sure, like, why did this fall out of the window? And it wasn't like it had fell out of the wall, like, how if you screw something in, and if it's not in there straight enough, you'll see it where it pulled the nails out, or the screws out. It was nothing like that. And I never slept, like I said, I never slept in that room again, because it terrified me. And sad to say, that is the most terrifying experience I ever had, because I had never experienced something threatening, because I felt like that was very threatening for something to throw itself, or throw something, or I don't know if it was like it panicked and it left my room through my window. Like, I don't know what it was doing, but that seemed violent to me, and it scared me. Now, we went and told the landlord about this, how we've been experiencing weird things. And she just kind of laughed. She was like, oh, well, there was this little boy that used to live here, and he died. She's like, but he's harmless, because all he does is, mess with your stuff. He's like a poltergeist. He just plays practical pranks on you. So he'll, like, move your car keys, or he'll, rearrange something. Like, that's all he ever did. Well, apparently not, because I'm assuming it was the little boy that did this to me. And I don't know if there was a reason for it. I mean, if you guys have any theories of why he would be angry towards me for any reason, or why he would do something like that, you can definitely let me know, because I still to this day wouldn't, or don't understand why that happened. And this particular house we've had more than one experience in, which I'll share in a future video if you guys are interested. But that was the worst experience ever. I have never been to the point where I would run out of room or cry or break down. I've never felt that threatened before. And it was definitely an experience, and this experience I hope I never have again, to be honest with you. But yeah, that's one of my other ghost stories of funness, I guess you could say. And like I said before in my last video, if you're skeptics or if you guys don't believe in this stuff, I completely understand. Because even to this day, it's hard for me to be like, you know, this happened, and I know it happened. And then trying to tell people, it's like, I sound like a crazy person, and I get that. Like, if someone came to me and told me, you know, something got thrown across the room, I'd be like, okay, you might be a little exaggerating. But I'm not that way anymore because I've had so many things happen. But I get where people come from where they don't believe in that stuff, and that's perfectly fine. So, yeah. If you guys don't believe it, it's okay, because like I said before, it is what it is, and I know the truth. So, if you guys have any comments about this or any ideas to what might have happened, you can go ahead and tell me. But yeah, so I hope you guys like this video, and if you want to keep lurking around, make sure you push the subscribe button, so you can be part of my ghoulish army and you can hear more of my ghost stories. And make sure you give me a comment on anything that you guys have happened to you in the past or recently, or if you have any ghost scary footage you want to show me, I want to look. And definitely make sure you give this video a like if you guys enjoy videos like this, because I definitely want to know if you guys like this. And I'm sorry that I ramble. I'm pretty sure I'm slightly ADHD, so this video probably went everywhere, every which way. Just everywhere. It went everywhere. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you continue to let me haunt your dreams in the future. Bye.